So we're on site. This beautiful lodge that you would have seen in the vlogs before. This client spent a lot of money and time on this property to get it into decent condition, so it'll be a good one to come in and sort of finish off. There's been a bit of come and go in terms of like what's realistic and stuff. I've had to sort of put my foot down in certain areas as to, you know, what we can do, or what I think, you know, personally, my professional opinion, what I think is achievable and what their expectations are. The customer also kind of understands the job and, you know, what is involved, so it makes it a little bit easier. It's always jobs like this where we could really do with another trailer, because now I'm going to have to take this material away, and then the guys are going to be at a bit of a standstill until I come back and get the chips. So we're on site at this beautiful lodge that you would have seen in the vlogs before. Guys are just digging out up the side here. There's going to be turf coming all the way out here. Ed's just doing a wonderful job at spreading some soil. He's pretending that the camera isn't in my hand. So we've got this bank that's been graded, not by us, by a groundwork team, and we're just coming in to do the finishing touches. New septic tank's been installed. All this area is going to be getting turfed. The guys spent a bit of time last week digging out underneath the decking where it was quite full of weeds and rubbish and plastic and stuff, and just tidied that up with some fresh gravel. That gravel will continue out of the deck into the sort of driveway entrance. We've given this a scrape back already, but we will give it another scrape before we do the drive, and it's going to carry on round there. A little car parking space down there, and yeah, where the trailer and the van sits will all be re-gravelled. So this client spent a lot of money and time on this property to get it into a decent condition, so it'll be a good one to come in and sort of finish off and make sure you can get it live. And it is going to be an Airbnb, and quite a luxurious one, I would say. So yeah, turf is coming tomorrow, and we are just sort of in preparation for that. Kieran Gorms. YouTube's back. YouTube's back. Mole's. It's Mole's birthday on Saturday. How old is Mole?
28, man.
28!
28 years gone now.
Grey hair soon.
Grey hair, mate.
Me too, mate. You got any grey hairs?
No, actually.
For the wrong reasons. It's just the way it's sitting. Push it down. Morning. How are we all today? Not bad.
More. Leave it more to you. Okay.
So we're back at this job again today. It's Tuesday. The turf is coming in the afternoon. The guys have been getting ready for that. Ed's just doing the sort of finishing touches of the soil. I went and got some more soil this morning as we were a little bit short. And yeah, it's certainly come together. Really good when it's done. The guys are just putting in the Steelscapes edging that we got for this job. It's the first time we've used it. In the past we've used EverEdge for certain sort of borders, metal edging. It is okay, but it is not really that robust and it's quite hard to put together. Having spikes on the bottom of it, if you hit hard ground, a lot of the times the spikes sort of buckle. It's more sort of for like garden, sort of lawn edging, rather than actual driveway edging. So this stuff is proving a little bit difficult just with the ground and trying to get it straight and everything, but it is a better product. It is also a lot more expensive, may I add. To get shipped up to the Highlands where we are, it's £250 just for delivery. So yeah, that is something that we face a bit of a struggle, having to pay a higher price just to get things delivered up here. And it is a shame because it is a better product and we probably would use it a bit more, but you know, for however much edging that was, I'm pretty sure it was like £600-700. A lot of money just for a driveway edging. But it is getting there. Trying to figure out the best way to get the turf on the bank. We're probably going to start at the bottom, run it along the wooden edge, and then work our way up, just so that the turf is holding itself with gravity. You know, it's not going to slide down. I think that's going to be the best way. What are we doing, Dan?
Metal edging. We're experts at it.
Kinda. Just being a bit unfortunate with the ground on this hole, I think.
one there,
Yeah.
and then 3, and then you can maybe put another one here or
So I
something.
don't know when back in tail or when it's that.
No, no, it's all good. I'm just going to keep it here. Right, I'm just on my way to go and dump this load of gravel that we have taken away. I say gravel, inert material, it's a bit of everything. Unfortunately, I don't know of any sort of closer dumping areas to where we're working, so I'm just running it back. It's probably about a half an hour drive to the tip that we use, and yeah, it is what it is. So I'm just going there now. I just want to try and clear out that driveway because tomorrow I want to try and push on and get the majority of this done. So while some people are going to be doing the turf, I think I'm going to start running material in tomorrow, hopefully, to try and get the gravel done. I want to get the majority of this job done tomorrow, which I would argue it should be pretty achievable. The turf's there, the turf's all ready to go in. We are waiting for some metal edging to arrive that the customer has ordered for the fire pit area. Basically a 3-meter diameter circle for a fire pit to sit in the middle. It will be filled with gravel, and unfortunately I wish we had that now so we could put it in before we put the turf in. We're going to have to work a little bit back to front, get the turf down, and then we will cut the turf in a circle and yeah, basically dig it out. It's one of those ones, the job is kind of chopped and changed a bit. Just while the customer's not been there, I've been liaising with him, just showing him photos and videos of things that needed to be like adjusted, or like just getting decisions on things. That can prove a little bit difficult, but I've got quite a good relationship with the customer that, you know, it is easy just to pick up the phone or send him a text and say, what do you want to do? And he really wants that sort of higher end finish whilst keeping it as, you know, natural as possible. So all the little bits of detail make a difference, and yeah, there's been a bit of come and go in terms of like what's realistic and stuff. I've had to sort of put my foot down in certain areas as to, you know, what we can do, or what I think, you know, personally, my professional opinion, what I think is achievable and what their expectations are. And I'm sure they watch these. I know they've watched these videos in the past, so you know, I don't mind saying it. We have obviously just sort of discussed what is the best option, how do we meet what they're looking to achieve, and what I think is realistic. But it is also good that the customer is in a similar line of work, stone masonry as well. The customer also kind of understands the job and, you know, what is involved, so it makes it a little bit easier. But they do trust us. He trusts us to do the job, and yeah, quite delighted to be able to come in and be the sort of finishing piece of what has been a massive project, and yeah, a really nice one at that. We'll maybe get a tour of the inside once it's all done. We've just pulled in to the tipping site. One of my pet peeves is rolling up this not properly. People just sort of fold it over. Try and roll it up as tightly as I can and tie it properly. turfing like?
I've been turfing, and Ed's been surfing down this hill.
Are you fed up with their yet, Ed? Aye. I thought you were getting all the turf down today, Dan. I thought you were getting all the turf down today.
Is that the plan?
That's what you said. Cute wee dimples you've got. Right then, it is toward the end of the day. Time is 10 to 5. Just leaving site now. I'm just slightly ahead of the guys. I'm away to go and dump one more load of material. There's still another load there, and then obviously once we scrape up the driveway and give it a bit of a tidy up, there will probably be another load of stuff to take away. So just trying to tie in when we come back from the job, going back towards the yard, getting material away. I didn't necessarily have to do it over the last couple of days, but I just thought when the trailer was there anyway, then, you know, I might as well take a load back and make it worth our while. With the landscaping jobs, we do quite a lot of muck shift and muck away, and where we could utilise grabs and skips, and we have done in the past, depending on how much it is, then it does tend to add up. So does your time with the trailer and my time running it back and forth, the fuel in this pickup, the wear and tear in the pickup. But the trailer has been definitely an asset for us with the high sides as well, being able to sort of double up as that sort of green waste vehicle, being able to chip in the back, take a mass bulk of green waste away. It's essentially a skip on wheels. It's just when you start taking a lot of inert material away, then it soon adds up, and you're running quite a lot. So just trying to think about ways what we could do in future to try and make it easier, still have control in-house, because when you're relying on external contractors, yes, you've got to be way more, you know, organised, just so you know that you either have material there ready for people to take away. You know, to make it worthwhile, I would have to have a massive pile of stuff there, be completely done with it, and then get a lorry in, whereas we don't really know how much we're taking away, so we're always like, within that project, we've always been scraping away or, you know, adding to the pile. If I had someone come in too early to get rid of that pile, and then we have more material to take away, I've still got to take stuff away in the trailer anyway. So it's a catch-22. If you're scraping up a driveway and you've got a massive bulk of, you know, 20 ton of material, then of course either a grab lorry or a skip would be, you know, a good shout. But again, it does kind of add up. So it's just trying to find the happy medium. We have utilised Gary and the 7.5 ton Isuzu tipper that they've got. That came into its own a few times, just being able to rely on someone else to go and run and do the back and forth. It's not a trailer, it's a fixed vehicle, meaning that it can, you know, easily reverse into tighter spaces. It just took the pressure off me to have to run stuff out all the time, and then also took the pressure of me to have to be on site, and then also just like not on site because I'm constantly running material all the time. Yes, I could get one of the guys to do it, but this is my vehicle, this is what I use all the time, so yes, they could do it with the vans and stuff, and they have before, but it's not ideal. So one thing I did consider looking at was an Isuzu Grafter lorry like Gary's one, which is a 7.5 ton. That would be a sort of down the line future thing. I don't know how easy it would be to do, because obviously you need to get your operator's license, and then obviously I need to go get my lorry license as well, or someone who has the lorry license. To be fair, Ed would probably have the grandfather rights to be able to drive, you know, those lorries without having to do the license, the ticket, whatever. Because that is something we would probably use quite a lot, because it can take about, I think it's about 3.5 ton, 3.7 ton or something like that the lorry can take per time. you put the trailer on the back of that as well, it can also tow 3.5 ton, so you can almost get 6-7 ton of material to and from jobs. So it would be a good little lorry. And I know another landscape business local, or not far from me, that run Isuzu grafters. That's all they run, 3.5 ton and 7 ton versions, or 7.5 tons. So it is food for thought, and to be honest, going into next year, I am looking at possibly getting another tipper. The Crafter is great, it's a brilliant van with a cage sides on it. We can take a lot of green waste, however, it cannot take much weight. With the size and weight of the Crafter alone, putting that high sides on it and then having a few bodies in the van, the payload is not good at all. It cannot take much material. Green waste it is perfect for, but any inert material and stuff, you put half a ton on there and it's pretty much borderline overweight. The Isuzu grafter tippers have, I think, the best payload out there. It's still not amazing, but I think it's about 1.4 ton or 1.2 to 1.4 ton. So I can't quite remember. This, the single cab, dual wheeled basic tipper would be the best for sort of taking material away. We are, however, probably looking at an ARB spec vehicle, having solid sides so that it is a sort of designated standalone, almost maintenance van. We can throw the chipper on behind it, we can chip into it, we can fill it with waste, we can also put tools and that in the back of it. Having the high sides gives you that almost security. Yeah, it's just easier to sort of store tools. We'd obviously get the tool pod with it as well, so it would be the tool pod and the tipper. So it is something that we're looking at. I really like the look of the Isuzus because they are like little lorries. They are work spec, they are, as they say, they're grafters, Isuzu grafters. And I know a few companies, Beechwood Landscapes, they run a fleet of Isuzus. Again, like I say, a local company that run Isuzus, and it's just something I want to look at. Being an over-axle cab, the turning circle, I can imagine, is very good. I've had a Mitsubishi Canter before, an old Mitsubishi Fuso Canter, which was basically like a little lorry, and it was actually quite good for running material, and I quite enjoyed driving it. So we're just trying to look at sort of what we can do to make things simpler. Do we go down the route of having just one brand of vehicle? How sustainable that is, I don't know, or how realistic. Obviously the beaver tails are quite a specific vehicle. 9 times out of 10 you see the beaver tails being put onto the likes of a Vauxhall or a Renault or a Nissan or something like that. I haven't really seen much of them on an Isuzu grafter, but it would be quite cool to do it. I spoke to AKFS down at Groundsfest. They are the people that build the beaver tails like what I've got. I was speaking to them because I needed another hinge. The hinge is kind of broken at the back. Yeah, it would be interesting. I didn't ask them at the time, but it'd be interesting to know if they can put them onto the back of an Isuzu. I can imagine they probably would be able to. So later down the line, when we do either swap out the beaver tails, do we try and just stick to one brand of vehicle, and that means it's more simple. We've just got one, manufacturer to go to. Any problems that happen, maybe a bit more familiar with the vehicle. It's food for thought. I'm obviously not planning doing that anytime soon, but it's good to plan ahead and see what we're going to do. I even thought about trading the Crafter in to get an Isuzu instead, because it might be a bit of a better all-round vehicle. But the fact is, we've spent quite a bit of money on the Crafter, probably spent in the region of $6,000 getting it kitted out of, with the mesh sides on the back and removing the rear seats and having it all shelved out. We travelled down to England, if you remember earlier on in the vlogs. I travelled down to England and had it done at Van Fit Solutions. So the back of the Crafter actually has shelves in there for tool storage. So it is sort of built to use now, and it's low mileage. I think it's only 15,000 miles since we got it, maybe 2 years ago now, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it won't be far off 2 years. It was a 21 plate, but it was brand new. I had like a couple hundred miles on it. It's obviously just sat in, a showroom or whatever. So I don't think it would make sense to get rid of that. It's just one of those things. It's just, what is the best route to go? What is the best vehicle to buy? And, how do we simplify things? Because like I've said before, the vehicles that we use need to be sort of fit for purpose for multiple different jobs. We aren't really big enough to split into two divisions where there is maintenance and there is landscaping without them integrating with each other. Kyle, as I mentioned before, is obviously very much more maintenance, and he sort of runs and he does the majority of that sort of work, but it doesn't mean that the guys aren't swapping between jobs. You know, I like the idea of saying, like, you do landscaping, you do maintenance, and you don't intertwine, but it's just not really realistic, especially for a small business. Sometimes you might be quiet with the maintenance, so you've got to do more landscaping, and yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know how to divide it. It's been something that's been really annoying me, and figuring out how I do it. How do I structure the business? How do I set it up going forward? Do I split it down the middle? Do I split it into maintenance and landscaping into two sort of divisions? But they sort of overlap, and it's difficult to know how to do that and how to make it work and what is right and what is wrong. Again, I am probably overthinking it, but this is the sort of things that go through my head all the time, and it has been a difficult last little while. There's been a lot going on, you know, just transitioning into the sort of colder weather, you know, cash flow problems. It's just business. It is just what it is, and I constantly remind myself that I have asked for this. I have put myself into this position, no one else. So as much as it's easy to start feeling sorry for yourself and have empathy for yourself, at the same time, nobody's coming to save you. You have to just be proactive and get yourself up and go and sort it out and face your problems head on, rather than shying away from them and, you know, hoping someone or something's going to come along and save you. It's very much a me problem that, you know, I need to go and fix. I'm just speaking generically here. There's nothing specific that needs to be dealt with. We have just seen a lot of growth, whether I really feel like it or not. Sometimes you need to take 2 steps forwards and 1 step back. It's knowing how far to go and how far is too far, and not to overstep the mark with in terms of investing and how far I go with the yard, and how, you know, if I delay it or not. What do we do this year and what do we push back to next year when we're in a bit more of a better financial position? What is a want and what is a must? You know, what do I actually need, or what is it that I think I need but I really just want? And having that sort of discipline to say, no, that is not necessary right now, let's push it back. All while trying to pick up the camera and document to you guys what it is like just going and running a business day to day. I like being transparent, I like speaking to the camera and sharing these things, and I know a lot of people get value from it. The more I know that, the better it is. So if you do get value, please drop your feedback down in the comments. I do try my best to get back to people. Sometimes I miss them, but it is important. It doesn't go missed. So if you do leave your comments down below, I will try and get back to them. And obviously, I appreciate your continued support in what has been quite a successful time in documenting my business, and I have got a lot better at it over time, I think. Speaking to the camera, we actually had BBC News in this morning. Chris McLennan from Inverness got in touch with me yesterday to ask about the wildfires, because obviously when the wildfires happened we went out to go and help. I put a video out there to showcase what we were doing, and that video blew up. It was quite well seen, and the BBC got in touch at the time just to ask if they could come and get us on camera. And they didn't actually manage at the time because of time issues, but they had a summit locally today at the Cairngorm National Park to address the wildfire situation, and BBC were down filming and interviewing people, and they asked me if they could get my thoughts on camera. So I just thought, you know what, I didn't really want to do it, but believe it or not, I didn't. As much as I can speak on the camera here, it's always a bit nerve-wracking. I have been on the news a couple times for various reasons. I got COVID. I was on the news for COVID because I was one of the first people in town to test positive. So I took that opportunity. I stepped out my comfort zone and I went on camera, and you know, my business was seen for it. There's no such thing as bad publicity, is the word I'm trying to think. The more you can get out there, the more you can get your name across, regardless of what it is, then the better. So and I took that opportunity to speak on camera and, you know, go on the news. We played a very small part in what was a huge collective effort to put out the fires. If you haven't seen that video, go back a few videos and you will see the sort of what we were facing at the time. We basically got the shout on the morning to go out and assist. I'd already sent the guys out to the jobs, so I managed to pull Mo and Joe back off the job, and we went out there and tried fighting the fire. We did help. We put it out. We put the area that we were targeted to go and fight. We managed to get it out, but a lot of times you're fighting a losing battle because of the wind and everything. And I think it's been a big wake-up call to people in the local area about what is actually in place to prevent these things from happening, and then also tackle it if it does happen, because it was pretty wild. That's what I kind of said to the camera. I says it was like apocalyptic and chaotic. There was no sort of structure to what we were doing, how we were doing it. It was basically like, there's a fire over there, go and put it out, and that's what we did. So if you've seen me on the news, you know why. Anyway, my throat was killing me. I'm going to dump this, I'm going to head home, and I'm going to go to the gym tonight because it's something I've neglected the last little while whilst we've been pushing on with the yard and other things. And as much as that needed to be done, it is not good to be frugal with your health and mindset, and you need to prioritize that, because everything is downstream from your mindset and your mental health. So the more you sort of tailor that and customize it and fine tune it and learn more and adapt it, the better everything else is. If you have a negative mindset, limiting beliefs, small-minded, everything is downstream from there. So you've got to try and improve that and work on it. And it's something that I've been so mindful of, is my health and well-being and my mental health and my resilience, because it is tough. It is tough out there, right? And one thing I've learned is there's nobody's coming to save you. We aren't promised this thing called life, I think people's entitlement really, really lets them down. We weren't owed anything on this earth, and it is important to know that nobody's coming to save you. You've got to try and get up and own it, work hard, look after yourself, look after your body. You've only got one of them. And that is my therapy session for the night. See you tomorrow. This is where I expose my wonky line. Right then, I've just pulled into Blue Hill Quarry to get some chips. I loaded up and dumped another trailer load of material from the site, offcuts of the turf, and also just the gravel and stuff that had been dug out before. The turf is pretty much all done. We are waiting for the edging for the fire pit to arrive. Whether that comes today or not, I'm not sure. I had hoped we were going to try and get most of it done today, but I think that is a bit unrealistic now. So the logistics is kind of slowing us down a bit, because where I'm having to tip, and then where I'm going to come back on myself to take new material in. It takes a bit of time out of the day. Not a bad wee setup in here though, just easy enough. On the weighbridge, tell me what you want. Pull around the corner and that's you. Now to go and pay, because I don't have an account here. So just heading back with a trailer load of chips. Not sure how much we're going to need. We're probably going to need somewhere between 10 and 20 ton. It wouldn't be as far as 20, I don't think, but at least 10. I've got a really sore neck for some reason. I only tend to get it when I'm stressed, but I don't feel specifically that stressed at the moment, although we have got a lot going on. The edging that we're putting in is proving a little bit difficult for the guys. The ground is that stony, and because it's quite thin and flexible, it is quite difficult to get it straight in one straight line. So we're trying to get it as good as we can, and the ground is just terribly hard with stones, so they're having to dig out stones, almost pre-drill holes to try and get the pegs in. I've cut points in the pegs. Right now it's just what they come as is just literally angle iron. So 90-degree angle iron pegs that you drive in, but there's no points on them. So I've cut some points into the pegs to try and help them drive into the ground. I've also grabbed some postcrete from the yard because some of the pegs have basically almost like created holes as they've been trying to get them in, removing stones and stuff. So we're going to try and drive the peg in as much as we can, maybe put a little bit of postcrete around it just to harden it up and give it a chance. Once the gravel's up against it and the soil's behind it, it's definitely not going to go anywhere, but it's just trying to get it as straight and nice as we can, as much as possible, because it is quite difficult. It was quite fresh this morning. It was 3-4 degrees. There was a slight bit of frost in the windscreen, and it's pretty much what we need to expect at this time of year. We've been relatively lucky with the weather, I would say. I mean, it's a gorgeous day now, but the mornings are cold and slow, so yeah, it's certainly jackets and hat season in the mornings anyway. As mentioned, Gillian is off this week, and because I've been on the tools the last 3 days, there's been some stuff that I need to pick up on in the office and the admin side of things, getting accounts paid and bills paid. Gillian does all of that now, so yeah, when she's not here, it's something that I've got to pick back up again and make time for. Having Kyle and Joe off as well has made me sort of be back out on the tools to try and pick up a bit of the slack, and yeah, I just haven't really been at the admin side of things. And it's Wednesday. Kyle is going to be back in tomorrow, but we do have our grass cuts to do as well. The grass cuts we usually do at the start of the week. However, because it's the last cut of the season, I thought we'd push it back just to the end of the week when Kyle's back in, so we've got more bodies on the ground to go out and do them, and these are going to be the last cuts. So this week and next week is going to be the last cuts of the grass, and we'll really try and focus on making sure everything's sort of tidied and short and looking good going into the winter months. In previous years we've only done 14 visits, and that has worked fine. However, we had quite a mild sort of autumn, and as we transitioned into that period, did our last cuts, the grass continued to grow because it was quite warm. The ground was still warm, the air was warm, so the grass was still growing. So we've actually upped the cuts to 15 this year. Again, most of our clients are on direct debit, so they're already paying for these visits, so it's just to make sure that they get the optimal sort of service and best use of their money. It's so difficult to know because some gardens don't need it, some gardens do, some grow really quick, some don't at all. So I've touched on this before about how I navigate that going into the next year. I'm not actually 100% sure. Just pulling back up onto site, and here we are. The guys are having their lunch. I'm just about to have mine, and they've prepared an area for me to tip this gravel out. Alright, lads.
Alright, mate. How's it going?
No bad. How are you, mate?
Ah, perfect. Just catching the sunlight.
Cracking view. Trailer when I take it away, so I'm taking it out. A summer morning seems like a breeze, but yeah, I definitely struggle a little bit in the dark, cold mornings, and especially when it's dark at night as well. I think the lack of sunlight is definitely going to be an issue. Anyway, we'll go and get opened up. So it is 8:47. I'm currently sitting in the queue at the quarry to get some more gravel. Kyle's back in today, so he is doing his last cuts. Like I said before, we normally do our cuts at the start of the week, but just because it is the last visits, I thought I'd let it go up a little bit more. I know it's only a few days, but pushed it to the end of the week because things are slowing down, and then we were short in numbers at the start of the week too, so that kind of helps. Dav and Ed are also on their cuts, so they'll both be cutting today and tomorrow. It's a very busy quarry this morning, so I'm going to let this guy come off first. We're going to try and get this project done today. I was maybe a bit optimistic yesterday. In fact, no, I wouldn't say optimistic. There's just been a little bit of setbacks with like the edging and stuff, and then logistics of running material back and forth. So the guys are there just now getting the driveway sort of prepped for gravel, and yeah, I'm going to run in some gravel to them, and then all there will be to do is basically clean down, tidy up, pressure wash the deck, give that a little bit of a tidy up, and then the edging and the fire pit, which is a little bit of work involved in that as well, but yeah, we'll get there. We've got retail parks to do tomorrow up in Inverness, so probably myself, Mo and Damien will go up and do that. But yeah, it's been a quick week. I managed to do a little bit in the office this morning, get some invoices sent out, which I haven't done in a little while, and obviously Gillian is off just now, so that is one of the most important tasks, is to get invoices out so you can get money in and send it back out again. The nature of the beast.
Hey mate, morning YouTube.
It's looking good. Metal edging is in. It has proved somewhat difficult to get in with just how hard the ground is here. It's always jobs like this where we could really do with another trailer, because now I'm going to have to take this material away, and then the guys are going to be at a bit of a standstill until I come back and get the chips. And I know what people are thinking, just get it in by a grab lorry, or just get it in with a tipper. Or, you're right, I probably should have, but it's just hard to sort of organise. I know I'm just making excuses. It just sometimes works quite well with the trailer. When you can run a load in, they can spread it, and by the time you come back, they're just about ready for you to spread another load, and then obviously not over ordering. So as you're taking it in trailer by trailer, we know like, okay, maybe 1.5 more trailers, or like half a load, or a couple ton, you know, it just like it depends. But if you get too much chips, then it can be a bit of a problem. Yeah, this job's just been sort of make it up as we go, but it would be nice to have been able to take that material away, or they can load it up in their trailer, and then I can go and get some more gravel. So we are approaching the end of this project. It is a little bit late on Thursday afternoon. We're waiting for this lorry to arrive, which is just about to turn up. It's driven past, phoned me, I've got a load for you. You went past. Here he goes now. So yeah, decided to get a lorry in just to get the chips in. We've got 16 ton there. Not sure if it will go the distance, but it will be there or thereabouts. I didn't want to over order. So everything else is sort of done. The grass is in. We're waiting for the edging for the fire pit. We got the wrong amount sent to us. That is the fire pit bowl that is there. So everything there is pretty much ready to go. Damien has washed down the deck with the pressure washer. And yeah,